Hey Dumplies, it's Dave Decide. Today I want to talk about JHope's new music video and what seems to be the reaction for the music video. And JHope might actually be a bit upset. I also want to talk about and get into Blink's protesting over Jisoo's solo. So hater or not, make sure you're subscribed with the notification bell on. Grab a Dumplings, he's spilling mug merch, and let's get into it. In K-pop, it's not unusual for members of a group to pursue a solo career and still be part of a group. I think K-pop labels look at groups in America who disband as quite weird because they feel the members can very easily pursue solo work and then come back together as a group and continue. And there's no need to disband to do solo work. But I do think a lot of issues come from this idea that K-pop labels almost quote-unquote own the artist and the individual artists of the group. So the labels can literally tell them, go solo and make money and then come back together. K-pop labels also prepare for this idea that groups might disband, so they want to make sure that the individual artists can still make music in case of a disbandment happens. And thus they can still extend the life of each artist in the group. But I believe in American labels, there are specific laws around owning each individual member of a group. So the American label just owns the group, and if the members in the group go solo, the label pretty much disowns them, and thus the group will continue without that one member or completely disband. That label might not have any control over that one artist, and oftentimes those individual members go to a different label. But that is just my theory on that, just a conspiracy. I'm not a lawyer and I haven't seen any boy band contracts. Each member of BLACKPINK has gotten a chance to show what they got and were able to pursue some solo work. Jennie went solo a long time ago, and then more recently during the pandemic we had Lisa and Rosé. Now Jisoo did technically have solo work, but a lot of people were upset that it wasn't music. Jisoo starred in the drama Snowdrop, which ended up being huge. There was a huge controversy around the show and it ended up catapulting Jisoo's acting career because all eyes went to the drama, and allegedly it became one of the most watched dramas on Disney+, which is insane. People had been protesting Jisoo solo for a while because it was unmusic related. It was believed that YG mentioned that Jisoo would do acting and then also do music, but I feel like that could be unfair to the other members. That means Jisoo would have had two opportunities to pursue work outside of the group, while other members just had one. But if I were to be honest, I would have preferred Jisoo do music rather than acting because I personally believe her voice is one of the strongest in the group and it never gets showcased properly. But I think Jisoo had a choice. I think YG went to her and was like, do you want to debut for your solo as an actress or a singer? And she wanted to do acting. After all, I believe this is what she originally studied and wanted to do. So I am happy for her. But if you know YG, you know that a lot of their dates that they mention for BLACKPINK are not always accurate. And I don't entirely blame one person. I think there's maybe some disconnect with the PR team and the people making the music, and maybe just some misunderstanding. It was supposed to be Jisoo making her music after Snowdrop wrapped, and it's been almost a year since that ended. But this issue took a whole life on its own when it was announced that BLACKPINK will be making a comeback soon, sort of. Jisoo was on Weverse and a Blink mentioned that they missed BLACKPINK, and Jisoo hinted of a comeback. The fans became angry because they realized that while BLACKPINK might make a comeback soon, Jisoo never really got her musical moment, and that when BLACKPINK goes on tour, Jisoo will be the only one without solo songs to do. Of course, this is not great or ideal, but people are going to be attending the concert to see BLACKPINK. There may be one or two solo performances in group concerts, but it's not going to be a whole moment where every member performs their entire solo mixtape. I also don't think Jisoo cares. She was asked to lend her voice for the OST in Snowdrop, and if she had done that, she would have had songs to sing at a concert or whatever, but she declined the offer. She probably didn't want to think about music while doing acting. And thus, do we know that behind the scenes, did she decline a solo mixtape offer? Fans are so quick to get mad at the label, but did they think that maybe the artist just didn't want it? It seems to be the season to think about solo work, and everyone is getting riled up about their individual favorite member. Today was an awesome day for one specific member of BTS, the Hopester, JHot, Jack, or JHope, the several names that he is being called right now. JHope released a very interesting and totally my vibe type of song. I listen to music ranging from punk rock, screamo to country, indie, and mainstream pop, all of it. There's not a genre that I don't like or don't listen to. So I was totally open to whatever sound was going to come out. I did give my fresh out of bed reaction to the song on Patreon, so if you want to check that out, I will link my Patreon in the description. JHope's new song, More, sounded a lot like a mix of old style hip hop mixed with rock. People were calling it punk or screamo. It's definitely not that, and there was probably intention to not make it like that, as JHope knows his audience is mostly pop, so he probably didn't want to rear that far into that genre. It was interesting to see the reaction online. From the concept photos, you could tell it would be a darker vibe. I was expecting maybe more Billie Eilish, and honestly I was expecting to hear JHope sing, but maybe he will sing in another song. I definitely definitely wasn't expecting this sound from him, but I really liked it. Although a lot of ARMYs did not like it, some people were saying that it became a bit hard to stream as they didn't like it, but they tried to get through it anyway. And others just thought it sounded bad. It's definitely not for everyone, and coming from people who listen to songs like Dynamite or Butter, this can definitely not be your vibe or what you signed up for. Obviously, that's okay. The song is still doing well, and even if it doesn't break records right away, it will eventually find the right audience, and those people will stream more. It's very difficult to be an artist that is very diverse and only be allowed to show one side of them, but it's also difficult for artists to experiment. You have artists, every time they do something different, they notice a huge drop in sales or whatever, and that can be discouraging. But you should still do it. When you never know if people will like it and it actually does really well, or now you got it out of your system and can consider going back to the older format. Every artist has done this. Taylor Swift went from country to pop to folk music. Gaga went from pop to country to jazz, and along the way they saw what albums sold the best and what didn't. I'm excited to see JHope's transition, and I think this song visually and aesthetically is a masterpiece. I'm glad to have it out in the world. However, as I said, not everyone was so excited. Others were upset, and even others went as far as to want it gone. But I think as fans, even if it's something you don't like, you can still support it as much as you can. And even if you don't like it maybe at all, maybe you could find someone who does like that style of music. Personally, I love anything creepy. The song gives me literal goosebumps and I love it. But I can see why some ARMYs are upset, as it can be a bit disturbing to them, and especially if you're used to seeing JHope in a certain light. Now, JHope did release a statement about this, and I'm really glad he did, because if he just released the music video and left, I think a lot of people would have questions. JHope in his statement basically talks about how he has always wanted to show more of himself, but thought that thought was very childish and he could never do that. And that he wants to start with this video and then slowly also add other emotions through the album and maybe even other videos. He didn't mention that, but it could definitely happen. He continues to talk about how this is so important for his process as a human being. He was worried and mentioned that he didn't know if ARMY would like or what would they make of it. And assuming when he mentioned the process, this is him discovering himself as an artist and finding the sound that he wants. He then asked ARMYs to please have interest in it and to look forward to it. I definitely will be looking forward to it. I think a lot of people will look forward to it and enjoy it. And I definitely think there's an audience for this type of music. But this definitely made some people concerned that clearly JHope knows it's very different and was worried that some people may not like it. But he still put it out anyway. Some people were concerned if him seeing any reaction online that was negative would hurt him in any way, because it's vulnerable and it's hard to release something like this. It's not what he usually does, meaning if he is doing it, it's because he really wants to. He likes this sound, and that's difficult to possibly deal with, people saying that they don't like it. Of course, I think it's hard to hear, but I don't think that JHope would be upset or cry if he read any of those comments, because I think he clearly was prepared for it. And if these comments aren't malicious, it's just people saying they don't like this specific sound. That's not bad. Let me know what you think. Make sure you check out my Patreon for more videos, link down below. Thank you, so there's a lovely comment right here. Love you. Bye.